The Football Manager Match Engine mod scene has officially exploded. What started as a trickle over the last couple of years has turned into a full-on flood with the Chinese mod and the Korean mod from those respective Football Manager communities. But now it's reached a whole new level with something called FM Tweak. If it does what they say it does. It even has a very professional-looking website specifically and only for Match Engine mods. And yes, I'm saying Match Engine mods plural because they've made 4 different ones. Their base Match Engine Tweak, then the arcade version, the lockdown version, and the Tweak Sanity engine. But we're gonna play the same match 4 times, each time with a different style match engine from FM Tweak. But they also have a Match Engine Manager app. Wouldn't recommend downloading that yet. We're going to talk about why later. And honestly, you don't need it because this is very easy to install if you want to try it. All you have to do is go to your program files, you click on that, you find Steam, you find Steam apps, you find Common, you find Football Manager, and you go to data. And in there is a file called simmatch.fmf. If you are on Apple, you are probably used to hearing this. It's going to be a little different, but you just need to find that data folder. This is the file you're replacing. With any of these ones that you download, this is the file you're going to replace. Now, because I'm always really scared of messing things up, I copy and paste this file into a different folder before I replace it, just to make sure that I have the original to pop back in. That's it. That's all you need to do. Then you just load up the game, which I've done. We are back in the save file from my journeyman save, the first save I played on Football Manager 24 15 years ago when it came out. And we're up to our next match, which is a home match against Nice. And with it, we will be trying the FM Tweak Match Engine mod. And if you're wondering why I'm making another video about Match Engine mods just a few weeks after making a video about the first ever Match Engine mod I ever played, it's because this one claims to have gone much farther with it. Even after I made the video around the Chinese Match Engine mod, I was immediately told about the Korean Match Engine mod that I hadn't heard about yet, and the fact that the Korean Match Engine mod was better defensively, while the Chinese Match Engine mod was better offensively. Basically, right after the video came out, or right as the video was coming out, they made an Asian fusion mod that combined the two, and the people behind FM Tweak dove into the changes made by the Chinese mod and the Korean mod and expanded upon them massively. Our work is based on understanding what the Chinese and Korean mod file did, and since we found out they only changed a couple of parameters, we decided to explore the whole list of parameters inside the file. This also means that our file has more depth and more testing, helped by dozens and dozens of testers that share their free time to help us build the best file we can. And this is not like a competitive space where they're trying to diss anybody. The person that designed the Asian Fusion Match Engine mod said that the difference here is that a lot more tweaks to the physics and a lot more hours of testing have been put into FM Tweak, while the previous mods were just kind of put together more experimentally. I'll do the same thing, like what I know I'm supposed to be doing. All right, we are underway. I gotta see this one from another angle, because what happened here? Obviously very hard to tell. I think it's trying to like deflex off the defender, but for this being like a much larger number of changes, I'm not necessarily feeling the huge difference yet. You can definitely feel the tweak to the ball speed. 100% you can feel the tweak to the ball speed. The ball moves faster. And that might be because in base, play, I usually play with it slightly faster. Does this look better on normal, perhaps? Can you believe that's the normal speed? It's hard with this sort of thing because you don't get the opportunity in like an initial review to test it probably the length of time you need to. And I know I said this the first time I tried a Match Engine mod. That's why I was always so afraid to try it. I mean, so far I've seen 2 goals, and I don't really feel like either of those goals wouldn't have happened in Football Manager that I'm familiar with. I'm feeling a lot of turnovers, like a lot of losing the ball in tight spaces. That was a neater looking play. Okay, that I feel like I've never really seen on Football Manager before. Deflects into the middle, kind of a miscontact with the shot. Guy's lucky we're up a couple of goals, or else I'd be losing my mind. I actually am a big fan of this match engine because my team is winning by a lot. There's actually some very interesting defensive positioning going on right there. That's part of this mod that's not part of the first mod that we were looking at, is kind of an overhaul to the way defenders are playing this, and I feel like I've never seen center backs take that sort of position before. And what's very notable about this is that Rodriguez is actually a pretty bad positional defender, and that could be a contributing factor to him taking up that position and giving away this chance. See, I'm not noticing as much of the big things when it comes to the match engine that stood out to me the first time I reviewed a match engine from the Chinese community, right? But this pass is just not a pass that you see players make in the base Football Manager match engine. I just feel like I've never seen that sort of pass before from that situation. And when they're tweaking things in the match engine, it's not just purely the aesthetics, the way players move and when they move and what kind of decisions they're making, right? It is that tactical adjustment. Anyways, it's how it changes the way tactics play, and that's clearly a boost to being able to play out from the back, to be able to hit that kind of cross-field ball. Never mind, I don't like the match engine anymore. Definitely feeling a bit more variety in terms of the cross deliveries. There's chip crosses to the back post. Happen a lot in real life, and I've now seen a couple of them in this match engine, and I feel like I'm not normally seeing. That was nice. That was nice. That was smooth. The touch, the shot, that was nice. The ball really moves. It's like hard to see the ball almost. It's moving so fast. That is one of the biggest issues, though, with the base speed of the game, is how slow the ball moves relative to the speed that it moves in real life. At least I feel like watching it. I'm starting to see it a little more, like that kind of cutback. That was nice. It felt very un-FM. So we complete our first match in their basic FM match engine tweak. It is definitely not as big of an adjustment as the Chinese match engine mod. The Chinese match engine mod clearly made a couple of large changes, where this seems to be a broader, more subtle adjustment to what's happening. Where I plugged the Chinese match engine mod in and immediately kind of felt like it was a new match engine. This might just, I mean, it's like they've attempted to augment it in certain ways, but it does still feel like Football Manager. There seems to be a greater variety of passes. The biggest difference that I noticed were basically the kinds of passes players were making and the position that defenders were taking. Not in a bad way, like in a way where there was more variety. Your defenders can mess up in new and fun ways instead of the same old ways. That's what I'm talking about. But one of the key tenets of this match engine is something that we did not test in this match, which is that tactical diversity is rewarded. And that is something that has been echoed by the people that have tried it and responded to posts on like Reddit, that lower block tactics are more effective in this match engine. So subtle, but broad. The other three, likely not as subtle. Next up, the FM Arcade tweak. Designed for players who want a faster, more exciting, and unpredictable FM experience. If realism isn't your top priority and you're looking for high energy end-to-end matches, this mod is for you. Well, alrighty then. We are in the Arcade Match Engine Edition. Here we go. I mean, it definitely feels faster. Like, it feels like the speed has been turned up. Just on player movements, ball movements. I said it was going to be more end-to-end and video gamey, and that definitely felt more end-to-end and video gamey. Right? It's not anchored in physics as much. It's a weird angle that shot's coming out on, and it ends up in the back of the net. See, even down to the way that ball moved. Maybe it's just turning the ball speed up, or maybe like some sort of thing in the sim match folder that affects the speed of the spin or whatever. It just feels less realistic, and it's a correct description. It feels more video gaming. And in some ways, I could definitely see how that would be more fun. It's the second time we've had one of those wild post deflections. I feel like it's because the shots are such lasers in arcade mode. Not the speed of the shot, which they obviously tweaked in their original match engine adjustment, but just kind of the direction and the way they come off the foot. It's like an absolute laser beam. See, like that pass. There's no way that pass is happening in normal Football Manager. That's just a psychotic, kind of physically impossible pass that the arcade version's like, you know, it's like FIFA, but 15 years ago. You know, that's the kind of plays you're looking to make. So this match engine's way worse, obviously, because this game's a lot closer than the last one. And it's definitely like made one-touch passing easier in order for the ball to, you know, fly around more. That was a really good tackle. I've never seen a tackle like that in the match engine before. I'm actually kind of addicted to this. The angle I'm sure helped, but this is a beautiful tackling. That is really nice. There must be something in it, like an adjustment in the decision-making time for the players or something. Oh, that was sick. Run that back. Oh, I've never seen that. That was a really cool, pretty goal. I really liked that one. The way he came flying through the air to finish that off, too, just felt very un-Football Manager. Which is basically a phrase I'm using as shorthand for I've never really seen that before. Now, I kind of expected this mod to feel more arcadey than it did, in a way where it would not be usable for an entire save, where I could see people actually using this FM mod for their entire save. If you want that more, it's almost like a throwback. Like, you've got your gritty realism that Football Manager's been headed towards, and obviously the top FM tweak mod is that way. It's trying to get even closer to that gritty realism, where this is just Football Manager. Out there having fun, pinging the ball around. Maybe you think the match engine's boring. This is definitely going to spice it up a little bit without it feeling inauthentic. Well, that brings us to our third, which is the FM Tweak Lockdown. If you enjoy the art of defending, the grind of narrow victories, and the satisfaction of a well-earned clean sheet, FM Tweak Lockdown is the perfect mod for you. This mod slows the game down, making every match a test of resilience, tactical organization, and sheer determination, rewarding those who value structure over spectacle. They mentioned somewhere else that this is a mod they specifically designed for people playing in lower leagues that wanted to capture more of what lower league football is like. I'm really interested to see how this works with my like 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress that I'm running right now. I know, thanks, I came up with it myself. So we're going into the lower league, knock them down, drag them into the mud, and beat them up match engine in the Champions League. Instantly, the contrast of how much slower they move, much more normal FM speed is evident. You can already feel the griminess with a block, group battles for headers. This feels like a violent affair. The touches are so much looser than they are in the arcade version. So much looser. The ball feels, for lack of a better term, loopy, which would definitely capture like a lower league vibe because the ball's just not moving as fast. Penalty? Oh, yeah. We've already had a foul, an injury, a yellow card, and now a penalty. I think it has something to do with the way they adjusted the touches, but players' control of the ball is just not nearly as good. I mean, it's particularly obvious because of the contrast with the arcade style, where the control of the ball is just kind of a given. Well, that was neat. The ball just kind of popping around. You just don't get that on FM usually. I loved that entire sequence. And then there's a terrible time. Like, this is scrappy. Keep in mind it'd get a lot scrappier than this, because in this save, I'm obviously using some of the best players in the world. So a great example is that crossfield ball that just went to Endrick, right? If this was any of the other match engines, if it was the arcade match engine, he would have chested it towards the goal and run straight to the end line. But in this one, he struggles to control it a little bit and then kind of brings it back. Although clearly the VAR is broken on this one. Bring me another match engine. I'm really liking this. You can definitely feel that it's a match engine that would value kind of a different set of attributes. Maybe in attributes that you might believe more accurately reflect what football, what matters in football. Where obviously there's always going to be some meta attributes. Anybody that goes in and makes these match engine mods is not fundamentally changing the game. They're just tweaking the values in the sim match file to produce kind of a different result. Right, but the same skeleton is still there, and there are still going to be attributes that are more important than other attributes depending on what you're valuing in those different sections of the game. Maybe part of it that's nice for me is what the hell was that? Anyways, part of it that is nice for me is that I know those meta attributes if I'm playing the normal Football Manager, but if I'm playing in a match engine like this, I don't. Can provide you with a new challenge. I mean, like, obviously pace still isn't going to suck, but dribbling definitely seems to be less valuable, right? First touch. Say maybe things like balance, strength, positioning. That's what you're going to be looking for here. And it is definitely lower scoring. I mean, the first match engine, we had a 6-0 win. There were 4 goals in the last match and a 3-1 on the arcade style. That was a very scrappy looking goal. I think mistakes are more important. It's like mistakes over quality. Like, my keeper did not do a great job of getting in the way of that. There's your mistake. But I think that in itself is great evidence that if you have the first tweak that kind of amplifies the intensity and the realism of the engine, but then you get to something like this tweak and my tactic plays completely differently. Were we a little unlucky that we didn't win the match anyways based off the stats? Yes, of course. But this is not the 6-0 blowout we were looking at earlier. The same tactic is playing differently. Now, I know in Football Manager, if you have a save point right before a match and play the match 5 times, you can get a bunch of different results. But I have noticed pretty significantly going through the first 3 the difference in the feeling of each one. So that takes us to the final one, the tweaked sanity engine, where everything's just turned up to 11. And we're actually getting a couple of error messages, but once we click fast enough, they go away. So we're just going to try it anyways. Now, the description for this mod pushes every parameter to the extreme, creating a Football Manager experience that is completely unhinged. Really good for testing that you've definitely installed a custom match engine. Okay, I'm just waiting for when the insanity is going to kick in. All right, here we have kickoff. Onward and upward. Oh my goodness. Okay, so my left back has just spawned in. Okay. And now everybody's reacting like the ball has gone into the stands over here, and it's not coming out. We have lost the ball. There is no ball. So we're just kind of standing here with the clock. All right. The good news is at halftime, our heroes can stop standing around waiting for the ball to reappear because they will get the ball back in the second half. Here we go. This is the normal speed that we've been playing on, by the way. Everything turned all the way up. Look at the speed that the players are closing. Look at the speed of the ball. Look at how much they like float over the field. We lost the ball. Are we going to get it back? Yes! We've made it a whole minute. Oh, nice moves. Oh, that might be it. We might have just... Oh, nope. The ball stays. The ball fiasco from the first half seems to be behind us. Maybe we'll get a normal second half. The header just vanished. Oh, nice. Very normal headers happening. Very normal. Oh! Greatest run I've ever seen. The problem is every time you shoot the ball, it goes so fast, it just vanishes. It is amazing how high you can turn up the shooting speed. At least we're finally getting shots. We have 3 shots in an hour. Turns out when you turn everything up on Football Manager, you get the worst match. I think the ball just entered the Matrix. This is what it's all about right here. Being able to dominate in any conditions, any weather, any match engine. You got to be able to go out there and take it. And that's what we've done here today. The net just rebounded so hard, I think it launched the goalkeeper. What just happened? I think the goalkeeper just got launched with the net. Real. Finally, some realistic gameplay. Yeah, well, he just sprints back into position. Got to be ready for everything. It's all about recovery time as a goalkeeper. All about recovery time. How much stoppage time is there? Why is there so much stoppage time? Oh, no. Am I in the never-ending game? What's happening? The ball's out of play. The game can't end because they've lost the ball in the stands. It was probably when the goalkeeper got launched into orbit. He forgot to bring the ball back. We'll just count that as a win for me. What's the actual takeaway from this? That there are now a lot of options out there and people are working on more every day to tweak the way the Football Manager match engine feels in a way that you might like more. Just more options out there that could make the game more fun for you, or make it feel like a new tactical or new visual experience for you that can help you keep going until FM26. Or you can just put on the tweak sanity and wait for the ball to eventually go out of play, or your goalkeeper to get launched up with one of those satellites. Oh, just one note on the end, this doesn't have anything to do with the actual match engine mods themselves, but the match engine mod manager that they've kind of made to make it easier for you to install match engine mods. It is something called unsigned, so it's being recognized as malware by most antiviruses. One of the mods in the Football Manager Reddit explains that while this could just be because it's new and unknown program, it could also be genuinely malware, so just install the stuff yourself. It'll be fine. But if you're watching this a couple years from now, they probably ironed out the kinks. There are a couple people who seem to know such things discussing it in the comments, saying that it's being flagged as a false positive because it's trying to go in and adjust the files in the Football Manager data folder. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but I just felt like I'd point that out. If you want to try out any of the new batch of Football Manager mods that you've seen, I'll make sure to put FM Tweak in the description. And if you want to check out a commentary mod that somebody's made for Football Manager over years and years, well, here's the video showing you what it looks and sounds like and pointing you in the direction of where you might be able to get it. These are my favorite. I love supporting people that spend their time to try and make Football Manager better. We did it with the new GAN face back in the day, and honestly, Football Manager's community is at its best with stuff like this.